my name is Brittany Kraft. I'm a registered dietitian with Ochsner's Eat Fit North Shore. And for this week's Eat Fit DIY segment, we're going to be making beet chips from Commander's Palace. This recipe is featured in the Eat Fit Cookbook, and it makes an excellent snack or topping for something like a salad or a crunchy topping for a soup. It's very versatile, very simple to make, and very fun to make too. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to need are your beets. So the recipe calls for 2 large golden beets. My grocery store did not have golden beets this week, so I'm going ahead just to go with the red beets. The golden beets do have a sweeter, more mild flavor. The red beets are going to be a little more of an earthy tone. My family likes red beets, so we're going to go ahead and use that, but feel free to go with their golden beets as the original recipe calls for. The first thing I'm doing is peeling them with a veggie peeler, and then next step will be slicing them thinly with a sharp knife or a mandolin. Okay, now we're ready to start slicing our beets into their chip shape. This is a mandolin. This is what I'm going to use to cut them into very thin slices because that's going to help with the dehydration process and to keep them nice and crispy. If you have a very sharp knife, you can use that as well. Just be very careful, and also be careful with the mandolin. So I'll show you how that works. I'm going to start with my beet and really just keeping my fingers out of the way, slide it down the mandolin, and I'll show you what our result is looking like. So I have some very thinly sliced, super easy, very beautiful beet chips here. As we get towards the end of our beet, when our fingers are getting a little closer, you can use this little safety guard here, and you can just stick your beet right in, and that'll use that to keep fingers completely out of the way because mandolins are very sharp. Okay, so once you have your beets all sliced up, you can arrange them in a single layer on a sheet pan with parchment paper, or I'm using a Silpat baking mat here. We've tried to pick ones that are similar sized so that they'll cook at the same speed. I have a preheated oven to 200 degrees. That might even be the lowest setting that your oven goes to, but that will really help the chips to dehydrate while not burning, and so that they can start to crisp up. Before we put them in the oven though, we're gonna season them just lightly with salt and pepper. So I'm just gonna go lightly around and do a little sprinkle of salt. And then we have freshly ground pepper here. All right, so these are gonna go into a 200-degree preheated oven for about 30 minutes until they're nice and crispy. Okay, so I just pulled our beet chips out of the oven. They do shrink up quite a bit, but they should be nice and crispy. We'll just garnish with some fresh parsley that we've chopped up, and then some chives. So that's our finished product. You're really looking for that nice crisp chip by the end of it. So again, here is a close-up of your beet chips. We hope that you like this recipe and that you find this technique useful. It's really a very versatile way to prepare vegetables. You could really use any vegetable in place of the beets and just slice it thinly and dehydrate it just like this to create a crunchy snack that's maybe a better alternative to chips, or as a beautiful decorative topper for something like a salad or a soup to impress all of your dinner guests. If you made this recipe, please be sure to tag us on social media and use the hashtag EatFitDIY so we can see what you've created. Thank you so much for joining us for another Eat Fit DIY.